Right. Yes, sir. It's happening. It's really happening. It's really happening. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Late Night Playset. My name is Jay Ryan. We have been having a grand old time talking to the Instagram audience already. And they're over here. Oh, that's producer Mike in Canada. Hello, producer Mike in Canada.
Hey, yo.
Over here is the Instagram audience. And what did Yoda say when he saw himself in 4K? Oh, this should be good. Last Action Hero is probably my least favorite. I remembered it being good. We watched it as adults, and we did not enjoy it like we thought we would. The Andrew Levitt is here. Past Action Hero. No, hilarious. Anyway, the Instagram audience is here. We're having a good time with them. Mrs. Ryan is over here. I think Ariel might be jumping in or not. I'm not sure. But here's the thing. We first of all, please like and subscribe while I was sipping my coffee. I got too many things. I'm holding too much shit here. Let me see if I can do this. Is a magic trick. I'll see if I can. No, I can't. That doesn't fit. How do I do this? What do I do here? It was like watching a cat try to figure out a doorknob. That was hilarious. I didn't improve my situation at all. All right. What was I supposed to tell you? Oh, yeah. Okay. So here, please like and subscribe below because this is unbelievable entertainment that you're not going to want to miss in the future next time we post more of it. But in the meantime, we were supposed to have Reggie Watts as a guest this evening, our good friend Reggie Watts. I have a man crush on my good friend Reggie Watts. Anyway, I love him so much. He's not going to be here tonight. He's booked up. He's doing other shit. He was supposed to be here. He couldn't be here. He was going to be out of town. Whatever. He's extended his trip. Anyway, we're going to do it in a couple weeks. So no Reggie Watts. So this is Tradecraft Thursday, but it's also Throw It Out Thursday because we don't know what the frig we're doing. But I'm going to start the playset right now with producer Mike in Canada and Mrs. Ryan in that chair and the Instagram audience right there. You trim your beard. You look great. And he did a shave. Everybody looks great. What's up, you guys? Kurt must be here. Welcome back to the Late Night Playset, everybody. Damn glad you're here. Damn glad. We're damn glad you're here. It's Tradecraft Thursday. I'm going to turn the bubbles off. We got nothing. It's the Throw It Out show, so I am damn glad you're here. And I mean that in every possible way. I'm going to remind you that up in Canada, we've got producer Mike up there. Were you waving the bubbles out of the way?
Yeah, the psychedelic bubbles that only I can see. It's lovely.
That's us. We're the ones who are usually high in the playset. I am not high in the playset, but let's get you high in the playset. It is Tradecraft Thursday. We have, these are two, there's the Drex of these. They're on the ends of both. I need to make another run down to our friends at Tradecraft. Oop, ready? Boop. Sorry, I get the bubble off the end of that one. It's got soap on it. Anyway, we got a little bit of G13 left if you want that, or a little bit of King Louis if you want that. They both seem to have about the same amount in them, so as you wish.
For the first one.
G13, going up for the first one. Oh, hi, everybody. Here we go. Bring the Instagram audience over here so they can see the pretty girl. Sharkworks is here. What's up, Sharky? Bought. Say again, Producer Mike?
Oh, people are buying badges like crazy. We need them stinking badges, and it's happening right now.
Oh, thank you for buying badges, everybody. I still don't understand it myself, but I'm really grateful that people buy them. In fact, we actually, I think, got our first payment the other day of like $200. There's like 500 something bucks in the thing, but they pay it out when they want to. So whatever, there's a schedule. Anyway, we got some, and it was cool because it's whatever, it doesn't matter. I've been paying for the ads on Instagram, like waiting for the money to, so it's nice that it finally is. Anyway, Tradecraft Thursday, we're getting you medicated. That's the best part. Also known as the Throw It Out Show, Throw It Out Thursday. Pure V6 says, badges in. Badges in. Does that mean he's in for badges? He has bought his badge. All right. That's so good. Here. Let's all watch Jay Fritz out. The shows where there's nothing planned, there's no pressure. So, while I'm sorry it's not more prepared for you folks at home, I tend to have a lot of fun because, wing it. I enjoy winging it. Winging it is the way I enjoy most things. I find if you're planning it out, then you're not present. And I find when you wing it, you are forced to be present. And once you've done that enough, eventually you get pretty good at it.
Yeah. That's a good way to say it.
Pretty soon, folks. Pretty soon. Cross your fingers. It's coming.
It's really good life advice.
Thanks so much. That's what we try to do here. We try to enlighten without giving advice. Nobody wants to hear advice. I'm the first one.
And that was my old job, to just tell people what to do and tell people what I thought.
You were talking to a different society of people that needed to be told what to think. Smartphones have changed that world.
Yes.
Having the universe's information at your fingertips has changed people's awareness and stuff. And then a lot of people can think for themselves now. A lot of people are even worse. It seems like, to me, the divide has gone even bigger because some people are getting enlightened and like, oh, I understand how everything works now, and we're good, and I'll be great in the future. And then some people are going straight to the Wally ship. Straight to outer space on the new blue is the new red. Ooh, blue. Floating around on their little easy chairs, watching their little iPads. We're already doing it. That's half the people I see at Disneyland.
Yeah, Tom Segura has a bit about how electric chair, like beds, are now the new chairs. Like people,
because people hang out there and they watch TV.
And they don't get up.
Yeah. When I was a kid, there was one. It was the Craftmatic adjustable bed. Dating myself now, it's sleep by numbers and everything else. You can have his and hers. They do whatever. But back in the day, it was for senior citizens, and then for like reading in bed and for your sore knees and stuff like that. Oh, my back! And it was the Craftmatic adjustable bed. Does anybody else remember that? Or there was the chair version called the Contour Chair Lounge, and that was sold to you by the wonderful. His name was Art Linkletter. I don't know how you would describe him. Presenter. He was a host. He was like a professional personality host back in the day.
I remember the bed, not the chair.
The Craftmatic adjustable bed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was all those local commercials we grew up with, like Burlington Coat Factory and all of that shit.
Oh my God, the worst. Commercials all the time.
So if anybody wants to jump in, this is like, sometimes we have themes. We don't really tonight, but let's give it one now. It could be like, thank you, Thursday. You got something you want to tell somebody thanks, you're grateful for some. That'd be like on the positive side. If you want to, back to Throw It Out Thursday, if you want to like let somebody know that you have an issue and here's the place you want to air your grievance, I would love to do that for you. please let us know what it is. Maybe I can make a phone call. I would be more than happy to be that guy, and solve your issue, or at least shine some light on whatever it is that you're having a hard time bringing up with the other person. We should actually, producer Mike, we should actually dedicate like a show, like an episode to this. We should think about it, produce it, plan it out, and actually do it, because that sounds like it would be kind of fun to me.
You should, and I think you'd be so good at that. FYI.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Here,
The
can't listen to
confrontation
everybody
show.
at once. what do you guys? She's in.
Yeah, air it out Thursdays. Let's do it.
Air it out Thursdays.
It's like Festivus, and now it's time for the airing of our grievances.
Oh, yeah, that's where I got that. Gosh, damn it. Didn't Seinfeld really influence our generation? Holy crap.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. Airing your grievances. And no, for me, I'm going old Letterman. Letterman used to make phone calls. He would have people come out of the audience. And Johnny probably did this too. And you know, they would fill out the card ahead of time while they're in line or whatever. And like, oh, you know, I live with my roommate and I want to move out and I don't want to, I'm having a hard time telling them or whatever. So then, you know, then they come down, they sit in the chair, they have a little quick discussion about it. And then Dave, or in this case, Jay, letter J, not
letter J,
not the other J. Anyway, then I would then, either place a phone call or send a text, or ideally get somebody on FaceTime so we can all enjoy it, and go from there. Richard Chasler's here. Look at this. I missed the comedy segment, and I miss being the guy who bullshit. You're probably still the guy who bullshit. I want to come back to my home. Well, I mean, you can come back anytime you want, buddy. You're not banned from the show or anything. You, as far as I know, you disappeared. I think COVID happened. I think the world changed. I think that's all. And you know, in the old days, this is Richard Chasler. If anybody doesn't know, he's a stand-up comedian, and he used to be the comedy booker on our show. I think, as I recall, you guys were doing it together. You used to book the show back in the old days, and then he was the comedy segment guy. And then I think, you know, between COVID, you disappearing, and then you not doing that job anymore, and then it's just me, and basically my friends reach out to me saying, hey, I want to do the show again, and that's how we got our guests. I do very little outreach on this show, if you couldn't tell. So maybe this is another great opportunity to ask a question. Who should we book on the show? Because we have done this in the past, and I believe, fulfilled everyone except for there was somebody really big. There was somebody bigger than Jay Leno, and we were like, okay, like a Will Smith or something like that. Do you remember that? It was somebody like
I
insanely.
remember that, not who it was.
And it would be
I
great.
Immediately let it go, because I'm like, that's
It
not
would be great, but
gonna
like they don't do this type of thing.
Yeah.
It just never happens, sort of deal.
It wasn't Wesley Snipes, was it?
No, I don't think so. Why, does he not do talk shows?
Always bet on black. No, I just wanted an excuse to say always bet on black.
Passenger 57?
My man.
Wow.
That's why you and I. Yes, there it is. Right there. That right there is called an alley-oop.
Yeah, and I don't know if I beat the shot clock either.
Oh,
but
no.
It was either that or the one where he's in the White House. I like that one too. Is it Murder at 1600?
Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
Yep.
And I think
Yeah.
Passenger 57 was okay. There's another one that I remember being good as a kid on the plane. I don't know if it's Air Force One or something else. But we watched it as an adult, and it's another one. We were like, wow, this is like 3 or 4 different movies all in one. Executive Decision. You remember that one? Kurt Russell and like Jean-Claude Van Damme. No, not Jean-Claude Van Damme. The other one. Ponytail. From the
Steven
90s.
Seagal.
Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal, yeah.
And good job. And like Robert Morton and like a bunch of those guys. A bunch of those people
Me and
from
Steven
that.
have the same barber.
Oh, yeah, you do. Look at that. Are you a cop
Yeah.
in Texas?
Oh, I wish.
Do you?
They wish,
Think
actually.
about that one.
They wish.
All right, let's jump back in here with the Instagram audience because people are saying stuff. Autocunnel's here. Oh, Steven Seagal. Yeah, they know. Stevie Seagal. What were we talking about right before that? Was there anything? Did I wrap up whatever we were?
I don't remember.
It's the Segway Show. Oh, yeah. No, guess who you guys want to have on the show. Let's talk about that now. And I'll make some notes, and then we'll do some reach out. Is there anybody you would like to see that you haven't seen, or anybody you have seen you would like to have back? You know, whatever. Oliver Platt would be awesome. Oh, he was in that movie.
Would he
You're right.
ever?
He was in that movie.
Hey,
He's
Jay,
a great actor, period.
Anybody associated with Studio 60 and the Sunset Strip would be delightful for you and I.
Yeah, that's true, but nobody else. I mean, we are passionate about that show, and you are too.
We sure
Yeah,
are.
I was gonna say me, but
The
we
Life-
might be it.
The Life magazine, the poster that's behind our skyline, in the wide shot here, you can see there's a big framed poster, and that's of a Life magazine cover from the '60s, I think, maybe '70s. Anyway, it's actually from Matthew Perry's office from that show. His name was Matthew Albee on the show, and that's why we have it. That's why it is here. Whatever. But I don't think anybody in the world knows that. I don't think anybody would care. And who would we get? Like Aaron Sorkin? That'd be cool.
Yes.
I guess I wouldn't complain about that.
Old Timothy
I will tell you
Busfield would
this.
be
Here, let me
amazing.
tell you something funny. Or say what you were going to say first, and then I'll tell you something funny.
Me? No, I just said the whole cast. Timothy Busfield would be great.
I've worked with him. He is great.
There you go.
Yeah,
you
I
go.
can't remember. Well, it had to be the Practice, probably, right? Or the Felicity or something. I think the Practice.
It
Probably.
always is.
30
You're a little young
something,
for
but I remember.
30-something. Yeah.
Yeah, was he not Gary? Gary's the one who died. Who was he on 30 something? What was his name? He was the director. It was him and Hope's husband. They had the ad agency or a production company or something. Do you remember that?
We'll have to ask Instagram about that one.
Oh,
I tap out
they're
on
not
that
going to
one.
know it either. If you don't know it, they don't know it. The Instagram audience is young. They're younger than us. We're old.
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
true.
television, things on television. It's good though because I feel like the young and the old are going to handshake on this show and around it and in society, and we're doing well. Let's see. Gareth Reynolds, the comedian and Dollop co-host, is local and guests on lots of pods. Not a car guy though. That's okay, but a good guest. I don't know Gareth Reynolds, and the thing is, getting guests is not difficult. You know what I mean? Like, the people that reach out to me to do the show, there's a lot. Like, I can't even respond to all of them. But they're just not like, it's not Jay Leno doing that, So maybe of the celebrity front or somebody that might be on the harder side to get, or just somebody you think would be really entertaining. If you think Gareth Reynolds is really entertaining, well, let's do it. I'm in. In the beginning, I didn't know who half our guests were, and you can see that on the show.
Have we gone down the path with like Bert Kreischer and Segura and those guys?
No,
I feel like you get one of them, you'll get them all.
Segura, no, and we've got some mutual friends. I mean, Segura, we know him. I mean, he knows us. He knows about the show. I think I've invited him. Let's go to the Instagram, shall we? I think I've invited him, but it was like a long time ago, like when he first. I don't even want to say it these days because like it's a public thing. But back when Breakfast Club was not like public and T-shirts and whatever, like he used to come up. He totally used to come up, and then it became like too big a thing. I think during COVID there was somebody who came in with a Your Mom's House mask on, and he was like, "Hey, nice mask," and the guy was like, "Thanks a lot." Oh shit! Like he had no idea. Did not drive up the mountain anticipating to see Tom Segura that day. But I think they may have moved as well. Didn't they move to Texas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Right,
Bert's still
but
in
let's just
town,
see.
I
Let's just
believe.
see, because I think even if I did reach out, it's probably time to do it again. But he knows this. We're mutual friends with the Smoking Tire. Yeah, I did reach out, but it was June 19th. So it's been a while.
I feel like if Bert Kreischer walked into that studio, he would have an expression that would be even greater than Niall Evans. I think he would just freak the fuck out if he saw your studio.
Well, that's an interesting point, isn't it? I mean, the wow factor. You're right. Nerds get it, and I guess those guys are kind of nerdy a little bit, right? I mean, he wanted his own. They built their own studio.
True.
And they updated it. When I showed him the picture, Mike, up at Breakfast Club of Late Night Playset, just like a still shot of the studio, he was like,
Yeah.
like he was like, I didn't know if he was gonna like rip on me. I thought it was gonna be like turn into a roast fest, but he just was like, and he showed it to Matt, who's seen it, of course, because Matt was here when he asked me to build his, and it was just like this level of frustration. And how did you do that? How did you do that? And why did you do that? And what's the matter with you? And he was like, "This is in your house?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, he's like, "That's the real Letterman stuff." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "This, I don't get it." That's amazing. He literally handed me my phone back and he was like, "That's amazing." Like he truly was like, I think what you're talking about, it happened already. It happened when he saw the photo of it.
I would like to see that live. Take my money.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Mark Maron as well. I would love you and Mark to have a conversation. I think that would be pretty amazing.
I would love that as well. I have a little bit of information on that. Back when Mrs. Ryan was booking the show, funny that this would all come up tonight when we were just talking about that with Richard Chasler, but back when Mrs. Ryan was booking the show, she actually did the old school reach out like we were a real show, and she went through like the publicist and everything, and the publicist was of course like, thank you, but Mark's not available or something like that. When I know that like how we do things these days is you certainly don't go to anybody you know to be a gatekeeper. You go to subvert the goddamn gate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody never snuck into the Ed Sullivan Theater, I'll tell you that.
That's how it works, and it's everything we hit it, so it makes sense.
Yeah. So maybe you were trying to not, now maybe I don't want to put words in your mouth here. Were you trying to not offend anyone from your old ways? By like trying to go through proper channels for somebody who's at a certain level? It's
honestly just what I know to do.
Muscle memory.
I don't have personal information for a lot of people. I had a BlackBerry then and totally different devices, like it didn't sync. So that's how I know to find out how to get to people.
Yeah. So it was just old school muscle memory and stuff. Nothing wrong with that. Unless
See, that's another guy, though.
I was really
again,
good in my small pond. I figured it out. Of the entertainment business and how to navigate it and make what happened, what I wanted to happen.
you did. You did. You were a manipulator, facilitator. Like you just made what you wanted to happen. It was amazing to watch. I didn't understand it really because it didn't make sense. I couldn't understand why all those people were afraid of you. I was like, why are they all moving? Look at that. They're moving heaven and earth for her. Look at that. Parting of the Red Seas and stuff. And I was just like, they must not know what she's like at home.
James inferred that people would be afraid of her.
What? Wait, what's that?
James inferred that people were afraid of her.
Yeah, no, so that's what, yeah, exactly, yeah. Well, like all professional people, you're different. I mean, most people are different a little bit at home than they are, in their job, especially if your job is to kind of play a persona to get things done or whatever. Although I don't think you were playing a persona. That really was your personality back then, in my opinion.
I adopted it. I liked being good. I really like the accolades of being successful, so I adopted those traits.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
If you're present when you do it, probably not, but I was not always.
If you're what while you do it?
Present.
Present while you do it, yeah.
And it's a conscious choice, not just how to get through the day.
That's true.
My MO.
Yeah. You had to make a conscious effort to be present. You weren't just automatically present back then. Yeah, that's part of the process, right?
Yeah.
Well, don't beat yourself up for that. If I think back at any of the things I didn't know at the time that I didn't know them, things I know now, but I look back at the time when I didn't know them, I'm like, oh, you idiot! Like, why did you make that decision? Why did you do that thing? Whatever it is. I think it's part of growing up. You can't beat yourself up about the past, about the stuff you didn't know.
I'm trying not to. I'm trying to look ahead. I get stuck in that weird pocket sometimes, but whatever. What am I going to do?
Well, it's the process, right? Like you just have to do the work. So I think even if you get stuck sometimes, the fact that you're still doing it and the fact that you keep going back to the well to keep doing it, I think I think that's the process. I think a lot of people don't get it. They're like, oh, just give me 1 through 10 and tell me what to do. And it's like, oh my God, if it worked that way, everybody'd be perfect. Anybody who wanted to be perfect would be perfect. It's not that easy. We humans suck. We're very complicated.
Oh, yeah.
We're very complicated. Emotions get involved. Holy crow, don't get me started on emotions.
It's a whole thing.
Well, when your emotions are involved, and that's the other thing. I would say maybe only until yesterday? I don't know. Like, my emotional intelligence was the pits growing up. Like I was this kid who could talk to adults and conversations about the world and all sorts of things, and I knew what I was talking about and everything. But my emotional intelligence was at the bottom of the porta potty.
Same.
Yeah. So until you actually work on that shit and balance it out, like you're not remotely as put together as you think you are because it's all an act still.
Yeah. And once it's gone and one person can see through it, like, you're toast.
Once they shatter your reality.
Yeah.
Well, it's the pill. It's the Matrix pill. Like, once you've seen, you can't unsee it, right?
And no one can unsee it. Like, it's for everyone to see. It's like, oh, you don't have clothes on. It's like that book, Emperor has no clothes on.
Emperor's New Clothes.
Right, that's the book.
Although I want to read the book, The Emperor Has No Clothes On. Did anybody? Oh, I forgot that guy's name. All right, well, send me a message about that the comedian you want to have on, because I have a feeling Richard Chasler probably already knows him. Sorry to get back to that. Try to type.
I dig that we're having an unofficial segment of the show. The old life of new Nicole or the new life of old Nicole. I like that that's a segment right now, and discussing that. It's great. Well done.
That's a little bit of Hal Gurney in there.
Oh, very much so. Well done, sir. Pure V6 also says, can you get Chris Harris? Went from Drive Network to Top Gear.
Oh, that's a good one. And yes, maybe. But when he's in town again. Luckily, the collecting car guys like us, and they like what we do. And we like them, and we like what they do. So we have been talking with them for a while of how to do something together. Like a year ago. When they first started, they reached out to us to, all this gets back to Chris Harris. They reached out to us to sponsor Breakfast Club. Now, we don't sponsor Breakfast Club. Like, it was a whole thing. Like, the moment we start doing that, it's a different thing, and then whatever the heck. So, in the future, we're going to be able to do that because, they make a contribution to the foundation, and then they can give out their hats or whatever they want. Anyway, collecting cars happens to be owned by Chris Harris, or, majority shareholder, whatever the heck. He's their front man. So we've been looking to do something with them. He's come up to Breakfast Club. We do know him. He's met us. He knows us. And certainly enough people up there vouched for us that day because it was a little weird. Like, oh, you don't know Jay and Nicole? Oh, goddamn. It was kind of crazy. So that one is, I would say that one's a likely, but it'll take some work. Mainly because of scheduling and because he's insanely busy and successful. I mean, if you know anything about successful people at that level, there ain't no free time. Like, it's all budgeted out. Time management is very, very important. So next time he's in the States and coming up to Breakfast Club, maybe we could have him here on a Thursday and then they drive up on Friday, something like that. We'll figure it out. Especially if they're doing the Breakfast Club. That's maybe the answer. When we do something with collecting cars and GVBC, it'll probably be when Chris is in town, and it'll probably be that week.
That makes sense.
So let's cross our fingers for that, but thank you. Good call. Good call on that one. Good producing on that one. Was that you, producer Mike?
Chris V6? No.
Oh,
sorry.
V6. All right. And then Raiden
Pure
Motors
V6.
is here now, I see, as well. Hello, Raiden Motors. Hello. Gun Operator says hello from Ukraine. Is that real, Gun Operator? Are you really in Ukraine operating a gun, fighting for your country and life and way of life? If so, that's...
I feel like he's taking a break right now if he is.
But... Too soon, Canada. Is Canada not invested in this at all? He's making light of it. I
think we
can't
said
imagine. I wonder if that's really. Oh, answer my question on Chris Harris, Pure V6. What was your question on V Harris? Did I miss it? Can you figure out what his question was? And we'll answer it. He's like, can you answer my question? I'm like, God damn it, son of a bitch.
We just did. No, it's.
Oh,
no,
so
he just
maybe
said,
I'm
can
late.
you get Chris Harris? Went from Drive Network to Top Gear. That's all he said.
He says I did. All right, sorry.
And then someone
just trying to make sure we get to everybody. I want to make sure we get to everybody.
And get Rod Emory on. Someone else said.
Who?
Rod Emory.
Oh, Rod Emery. Yeah. You know what? It's a great
Emery,
time.
sorry.
That's a great idea. Rod Emery has been here twice. One time, actually, with Amy. And then we talked about having them back. And then, he's, speaking of successful, busy people, I've never met anyone more busy than that guy. He sleeps like 3 hours a night. He's in the shop at 4:45 in the morning, working 2 hours before everybody else gets there. It's kind of crazy. and his days off are when they load up the RV with jet skis and motorcycles and ATVs, and then take the entire family off. They're doing the same schedule, just somewhere else doing something else. So he is incredibly hard to lock down, but great idea, and I will reach out because it's definitely time. And this is the stuff I forget about. So please, you guys, don't be afraid to say, hey, where's so-and-so been? Because I'm the holdup here usually. It's usually the bottleneck is me because, like, there's just too much for one person. So when you guys say, oh, blah, 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 like squeaky wheel, I'm like, right, got it. Blah, 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 blah.
If this is our show, and by our show, you mean everybody's show, like that's the thing that I just am so blown away by, and what's so different about it. Like when you brought me on board, this is our show. The community here is what makes it better. And I just love the fact that you're so inclusive when it comes to this stuff. And yeah, he means it, everybody. Like, you got a dream guest, let's all talk about it and get involved. Step forward, make it your show too. It's so great.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Like, it's almost like use it like you're in the studio audience but here you're allowed to call out. Like if you're at Dave or a real show, you're supposed to just sit there and applaud and laugh, but don't. Hey, Dave, you suck! You suck! Get Howard Stern, whatever. So let's do that. Why not?
Yeah, let's get
Stern
Howard
would be
Stern.
a good one for me. I would love to have Howard Stern.
Yeah.
I'll just write it down here.
Oh, good.
Look, sometimes if you write it down, it happens. Like, it's weird. You say things out loud that you don't think there's even a chance in a million. We're sitting here at David Letterman's desk. Like, to me, that's still crazy. It's still crazy to me. Because, like, while I'm used to it now, and now it's just equipment that we use, when I was a kid, this would have blown my mind. And in fact, someday, if we're ever actually able to switch this out with the late night stuff that Commissar has, I will be that kid again, and it's going to be ridiculous. Because I didn't think I cared anymore. And then seeing the pictures of it, I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's incredible. I do still care. And it kind of, starts the juices flowing again. Raid mode.
The obvious ones as well. Speaking of what you're talking about there, the obvious ones are Kimmel and Conan as well.
Conan?
Yeah.
Well, you are Canadian.
Conan.
Thanks for having me, Conan. I farted once on the set of Blue Lagoon. All right. Hang on.
Kimmel would be honored to sit at that desk.
Say it again?
Kimmel would be honored to sit at that desk. Kimmel never sat at that desk, and he would love to sit at that desk.
You think?
100%. It's more than think. He would love to sit at that desk.
I think you're. Well, Kimmel's a fan too, isn't he? I was gonna say I think your
Kimmel
fandom wants to. Like, I thought the same thing, and then you sit here. It's just a stage prop, right? It's just some equipment.
Oh, fuck! Oh no! I'm gonna cry when I'm on the show next month.
People.
Wow.
I am literally gonna get misty-eyed when I am in the presence of that thing next month.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, then that's another reason we're doing this, though, and then it's not locked away in a vault somewhere or whatever. Is that we do get to show it, and that to me is kind of fun because having this would be really. When I say pointless, I mean effing pointless if we weren't sharing it. If we just invited Letterman fans to come to the house and see it on their own every once in a while, like that would be really weird.
We would be a loser.
This is already, like, we're already pushing the limit here. Anything else, I don't know. But you're right that we do mean it. It is the intention of all of this is to have a community, to make a community. And I feel like we've definitely succeeded in that because the people who are in for life. We have made life friends through this thing.
Yeah.
Producer Mike, you brought up an interesting point about the stuff of all of. Do you want to tell anybody about anything that you're working on getting for your, not only your show, but for the Letterman podcast, which we talked about the other day here?
So it's been fleshed out a little bit more what I'm going to do. We're gonna put the first episode out on April 20th, as well as I have just rewritten the origin of wrong way of that story of me, the picture there. I've just rewritten it. It's like 13,000 words. So I'm going to release that as kind of a manifesto of sorts, I guess, a comedy manifesto, whatever you want to call it, and a manifesto of intention. And so I'm going to release that with at least one episode, and had a very good call yesterday with with Mark Carzin, and he gave me some really good ideas as to some ways that we can start releasing clips and things like that. So that's where the Letterman podcast is at right now.
Oh, I love it. So we don't want to talk about the thing you were talking about me that you're procuring for your set? Is that
no,
still a secret?
We can talk about that. Absolutely. Yeah,
Because
and I'm pretty excited about it.
the only reason I brought it up, and it was supposed to be a quick segue, was just because you were talking about how attached you are to even all this stuff. But you yourself just got a piece of this same type of history for your joint.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be coming. We're working on it right now, but yeah, it's going to be happening.
It's yours. It just isn't in your possession yet.
No, that's correct. And one of the bridges that was behind Dave as part of the background is going to be the background or part of the background of our show. And I've already named it. It's going to be the Irene Hoffman bridge, and we're very excited.
Oh, no kidding! Is she helping you get it? Is that why?
There's going to be something that's actually dedicated to you guys as well, but I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that for now because I was really, really kicked forward to doing this project with a couple of people who I just care about very much and have encouraged me to no end. And Irene is one of those people. So
I love it. Am I able to show? I can hold this camera up. Can I show them?
Go ahead.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Don't explain
Yeah,
it.
it's pretty exciting.
Do it. Just do it.
It's pretty exciting.
Oh, this is wrong. This one. There we go. Is that it? There it is.
Yeah.
Can you see that? It's kind of dark, but that's one of the bridges from the Letterman skyline.
Yeah. Yeah, I get goosebumps.
And then as far as where it is, now it's one of the smaller ones, but it's still there. And as far as where it was, you can see it right here. Isn't that awesome?
Dave would run past it every single night. Yeah. So I can't wait to light it up, and it's going to be a really neat. It makes me feel amazing to know that is going to be behind me as I do my all the different broadcasts that I do. So I'm very, very excited about that, and got some other cool things coming too. I think I'm going to wear for the Letterman podcast. Okay, I've got 4 pants jackets. Should I wear a pants jacket every episode?
I mean,
or is that
for
too much?
you? I mean, are you asking me what I would do, or are you asking what I would do if I were you?
Okay, yeah, no. I'm asking what you would do if you were me hosting the Letterman podcast. Is it too much?
For me, it would be too much. For you, it might be right. It might be the right amount.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It all depends on the person. Who am I to say what you should do? I think you need to do what you're most comfortable in. If you're most comfortable doing the Letterman thing, wearing your pants jacket, or any of them, then I think that you should totally do it. If it makes you feel better, do it. I mean, you don't need to. You've taken the reins. You're going to do the Letterman podcast.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we don't actually having this is more of a gag than anything else. Like we don't use it as part of our act. It's more of like a, hey, remember Letterman? So it's up to you. I think the more Dave stuff you do, the less you it is. And I mean, I don't know. It's a double-edged sword, I guess. Don't lose you in this. I want to see a lot of you being excited at all the people you're talking to. So maybe you as the fan in the jacket's good.
And I will be, no matter who it is, from Barbara Gaines, say we get Barbara Gaines, all the way down to, again, the person that just answered the payphone walking by. I'm going to be excited to talk to any of them about it. I'm genuinely positively excited about this. There is no phoning it in or faking it when it comes to it. I'm fascinated by it, no matter who it is. So
I think as long as you are respectful with everybody, with not just their time, and I mean, you're a really respectful person anyway, but like as far as the business and people's boundaries, because any show has boundaries, you know, the family within any show. And that one in particular, I would say probably more so than any. They are all very protective of each other, rightfully so. Yep. And I think as long as you're respectful of all of that and navigate those waters very carefully, even if you screw up, and make sure that they all know that your intentions are good, I think you're going to get anybody you want from your friends that you're people from the staff you're already friends with, like Shecky, to Barbara Gaines or Rob Burnett or whoever you want to talk to. Can I tell you a funny thing that I was going to tell you before? It's really quick. I saw, I'm friends with Kreskin on Facebook.
Like Kreskin? Really?
Yeah. So I sent some sort of message to he posted something about something, and I just tagged him. I'm like, hey, if you ever want to blah, 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 we'd love to have you, kind of thing. And then you got to love the manager. Oh, where is it? I wonder if he deleted it. The manager jumps right in with this is work, and Kreskin doesn't work for free. It's like, oh my God. I mean, it's a half a compliment because he's saying what if this looks like a real show. But I had to respond with it's a husband and wife podcast in a dining room. From Jay Leno to Carol Leifer, nobody's ever asked for money. If that's what you're saying, okay, totally get it. And it's no worries. But is that what you're saying? Seems to have disappeared.
I get that in the pro wrestling world a lot. What you guys were talking about earlier, sometimes it's easier. It is better many times to cut out the middleman and all the people who surround these personalities. In the wrestling world, that certainly was the case. And we've had 4 or 5 big name wrestlers who were interested in doing, because our promotion was for charity, right? Everything that every dollar we earned went to local charities. And we had a lot of wrestlers who loved what we were doing. And the deal just got pooched by management. It just, that's very frustrating that happens. It's interesting that Kreskin can be added to that list.
It's not. I think you're reading my response here wrong. I'm not remotely frustrated. I find this so entertaining because I know how the business works. A manager is not legally even allowed to procure work for a client. It is illegal if he's an actual registered manager, so licensed manager. So I mean, it's one of those I don't care about any of this. I find it all entertaining. I think it's amazing of the people we've had here who are no problem, and then Kreskin is one.
That's right.
And it's not Kreskin; it's his guy. But yeah, so I said, Kreskin, are you in Los Angeles? Any interest in joining us on Late Night Playset? Would love to have you. And the guy, Gary Mitchell, jumps in with, that's work. Dash. Amazing Kreskin doesn't, AK, capital AK. The Amazing Kreskin.
Wow.
AK doesn't work for free. And I responded
That's a t-shirt. Let's get that t-shirt right now. AK
Doc Brown doesn't drive a fucking
right
DeLorean, and Kreskin does not work for free.
You're not asking him to perform.
I said, hi, Gary Mitchell. Well, I think that's the argument is it's a real show and it's a performance. I understand that. Hi, Gary Mitchell. Thanks for the reply. Are you the Amazing Kreskin's manager? And I'm baiting him here because I want him to say yes so I can be like, what you're doing is illegal. I said, Late Night Playset is a husband and wife hosted podcast from a tiny home studio in Toluca Lake. None of our guests, from Carol Leifer to Jay Leno, have ever asked for payment. Is this a misunderstanding? This is where Jay's Jay. Is this a misunderstanding, or do you require employment to talk about life and career on a podcast? No worries either way. Just trying to clarify. many thanks.
And crickets was the response?
Yeah, it's all public. This is all public. And it was only 2 hours ago, so whatever. I find it all very entertaining.
I love how you guys.
This is where you said frustrating. I'm like, nah, this is material. This is what gets me going. This is the type of thing I get jazzed about.
I appreciate one of the things that I love about this podcast, and maybe people can comment on this, and as the community grows, you guys are insiders. And I wouldn't have known that. I have no idea that it's illegal that a manager procures work for their client. In fact, the logic or common sense to me thinks that that's what they would do. So that's interesting.
An agent can procure work for the client. That's their job. A manager's job is simply to say, yes, take that job or don't. They're advising on the pathway of the career, generally speaking, in any way necessary. I mean, they're basically a consultant for, hey, what should I do? But they can't go out and be like, hey, you should hire my client for this, because they can't be at a mixer or a drink and be like, oh, fucking Nicole's available. You should probably put her in that. That. I'm sure
that's illegal.
I'm sure it happens left and right, but it's checks and balances. Wow. It's someone else's job.
I gotcha. Huh.
And if
so
you wanted
Nicole,
to be an agent, you'd have to go
publicist.
through that and be an agent, and then then you're kowtowing to those rules and whatever. It's all different. But it's a union business where we're paid in 6-minute increments, so everything is accounted for.
Gotcha. I think there's
And
a
that's
few
been
dozen
tonight's
people
show.
who will be fascinated by this.
No, it's fun. It's fun being an insider, but it's also it takes all of the fun out of it. On the other side, double-edged sword, because you know too much.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a production person, you can't go to like a theatrical show because like you know how all the magic, you know where the smoke's coming from, you know how somebody's flying or whatever, you know all the tricks. Imagine watching television or the news or reading a magazine and having her old life and being like, everything is bullshit. Everything is bullshit. Everything is bullshit. Turn the page. Bullshit. 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 I'm out of snow. Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
So I imagine if there was a project of some sort, be it a theatrical or movie or whatever, that cut through all that and allowed you to suspend disbelief, even for a few minutes here, and forget all of that stuff, that was a very rare, beautiful treasure.
What was? Yes, I don't know.
We're
what the
both lost.
question was.
To what are you referring?
Okay, but like you're sitting there, you understand how everything works, right? But every once in a while, I'm sure something came along and captivated you and did suspend your disbelief and entertained you. That must have been a very cool thing because it probably didn't happen very often.
For me, it's authenticity. And quality. Quality cuts through for me, and authenticity both every time.
It happens now. It didn't for a long time when I was working, but yeah, now it's that you see the authenticity of the real words they want to say, not what they're told to say by a script or a producer.
But it. Mm-hmm.
Apparently, I want to understand.
No, I think we're all just. I think we all have different answers to the same question. Probably, it's fascinating.
Yeah, like so you couldn't. Was it hard for you to see the humor in two cops calling this kid McLovin, putting a hand cannon in his hand and having him blow up bottles and calling him McLovin and loving it? Which most of my friends, we saw that and we're literally screaming, laughing. For you, that's just like, oh yeah, no, you can't separate yourself from that, from the movie, and see the comedy in that.
No, you have to know how to sell it and how to protect who's in the scene. Like, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
She wasn't really able to enjoy a lot of the art that her people made at the time. I find now, you going back, are able to. In fact, you have opinions now, and you didn't professionally have an opinion because it was just, yep, it's great. Everything they're doing is amazing.
But strategically, it was amazing. I'm glad he made that joke. I'm glad he said this. I'm glad he said that. This will help the career do this and that. It had nothing to do with the content.
Sometimes. There's so much to this question.
Yeah, I was going to say it's an outsider's question to an insider's, looking for an insider's answer, and it's almost like 100%. You guys aren't speaking the same language.
Yeah, and I think there's appeal for this show because of that. Is where I'm coming from. That was the original premise.
Our inside perspective on things. Yeah, well, that was the whole point, to like pull the curtain back a little bit.
Yeah,
because that's sort of what Dave did to the talk show, so that's sort of what we did with the podcast. We just, I mean, what the fuck? Let me remind you where we're sitting. This is ridiculous. Well, I should probably do some commercials before we do anything else because we're running out of time here. They say, oh, there's Mike up there. Here we go. Bring it back here.
Hey.
They say, here we are, all which separates men and boys is the coverage of their toys. What types of toys am I talking about, Mrs. Ryan?
Cars. Collector cars.
That's right. Could be any types of cars. Collector cars. It doesn't even have to be cars. Could be anything. Like our friend James Commissar has a huge collection of TV memorabilia. He happens to have excellent art insurance on his, but if he were looking for other possible solutions, he could contact Jeff Sinclair. How would he do such a thing? We'll get to that. First, I want to tell you that licensed in most states, St. Clair Insurance shops the top providers so you get the best coverage for your toys. Whatever those toys may be. They can be anything. Did I mention that? Jet skis? Did we talk about that? Boats? Heavy equipment? Do you have a bulldozer? Maybe a snowplow? Long driveway? Some people have yard equipment. Some people have farms. Are you a farmer? You could probably insure your crops through St. Clair Insurance. Do they have crop insurance?
I don't know.
If you... Shut up, Canada. If you want to check out St. Clair Insurance and see what they can do with the coverage for your toys, simply go to www.coverageforyourtoys.com, coverageforyourtoys.com,
Coverageforyourtoys.com.
and tell Jeff St. Clair that Nicole sent you. He'll know who it is. All right, Series 1 Films. This episode has been brought to you in part by Series 1 Films. Series 1 Films helps automotive brands create engaging cinematic content for social media and advertising to grab and hold your ideal customer's attention. Check them out at series1films.com. That's series1films.com. The one is number. Well, I screwed that up. It's number 1. We're going to need a new mime. Bring in the mime. Just someone who knows sign language, I guess, would do it. And if you want to talk to Taylor, he's usually up at GVBC, and he probably will be tomorrow. And get yourself some cinematic content that will grab and hold people's attention. All right, so I've got some work to do here by getting Chris Harris, Rod Emery, and Howard Stern here. The last one's going to be tough. I'm kind of regretting writing that down. St. Clair Insurance says, love you guys. I didn't know you were here. Jeff St. Clair's here, so if you want to, you can message him. He's online now. You can message him. Find out what the coverage for your toys could be. He shops the top providers, so you get the best coverage.
Do you think he'll insure my original Boba Fett still in the package from '83?
If it has value and can be insured, like anything that has value can be insured. Like it could be jewelry, it can be collectibles. How much is a Boba Fett worth? Still
That
in its
one
original
there, I think
packaging
about-
from 1983.
I don't know. I think about $4 or $5 grand US. I think.
Yeah, dude. And your sneaker collection should be insured, and all that stuff should be insured.
Yeah, there you go. Does he insure in Canada? Let's open
He's
up some
licensed
markets,
in most
baby.
states. Licensed in most states. Canadian interestees will have to inquire within.
Also, Pure V6 says, what about the guy that builds the Land Cruisers? Corsetti, I think his name is.
I don't know Corsetti, but I do think that Icon Jonathan Ward is a good one. And then can you figure out how to tell me how to spell his name in just 1 second once I've written Jonathan Ward down? Jonathan Ward. Do you know who that is? If I just say the name, does that name sound familiar to you?
Mm-mm.
He's a car guy now. He makes awesome vehicles. But back in the day, he was a child actor. And he was on Charles in Charge, but we know him from Mac and Me. He was the older brother on Mac and Me. Did you ever see that movie?
Mac and Me.
Yeah. All that. He was the older brother. You know, fucking helping the little kid in the wheelchair is amazing. It's amazing.
That's the clip that Paul Rudd plays on Conan.
Exactly. On Conan all the time. And he did it even as recently as last week on the podcast. So back to Conan, because you're so good at segues. I did reach out today to Aaron Blair to be a guest on the show. We had his co-host from some gaming podcast on the Team Coco Network here, Sonia, who's a friend of ours. Unpack it all for you? Sure. Here it comes.
Yeah.
It's like Pee-wee with the chain. But he's been with Coco since New York. So I would love to have him here. I don't think he was there back in the day when I was. I think I just know him from the show and from probably visiting, because I know we ran into him when you would have people on the show.
Yeah, I
posted that picture today of the Central Perk. Whenever she would have somebody on Conan, when Conan was at Warner Brothers, we would always get there a little bit early and take a walk when that was possible, and always find. I would either have already planned it out, or we would just find something interesting and neat that I would show her, because I'm Mr. Hollywood Tour Guide, and today it was, or that one day it was the Central Perk, from
Friends.
From Friends.
From the Friends show.
Yeah.
Nicole, you look adorable on that couch.
Thanks.
Look at that.
Now, why did
It's
you
like
say
a
the couch
big old
was huge?
couch. Well,
You
look at how high the back goes on Nicole. It's like swallowing her up. You and her up. It looks like a huge couch there to me.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess it didn't feel big to me, but maybe the back's high. Maybe it's just worn out. Maybe we're just low. I don't know. Could be anything.
Hey, if
I
you're
see what
talking
you
about
mean, though.
Conan,
The back looks
yeah.
high.
It does.
It could be the angle, too. Central perk. Are you going to do that when you're here? You're going to be here in a couple weeks now, and then you're going to do a lot of stuff while you're here. I know that.
Oh, we got big plans for the first 4 days that have to do with Disneyland and lots of Star Wars land for me and Huntington. And then the last 5 days or 6 days are just hanging out in your neck of the woods, doing your show, going to see Letterman. We want to come to Good Vibes. I'm going to try and procure a car for the four of us. It's my wife and my stepson and his wife. He's a videographer and he's a car guy. So we're going to try and Turo a nice car and come to Good Vibes with you guys, and maybe Sunday morning too. I don't know. Meet David Letterman. It's going to be a great time.
I realized the whole crew is coming out. I kind of just thought it was you and your wife.
No, in Austin and Savannah. Yeah, that's going to be good. He's going to get a lot of. So when I was asking about car experiences, it was actually for him because he is a huge car guy. So
Gotcha.
I want to blow his mind and give him the trip of a lifetime because he's my boy. I love him.
Fair enough. Yeah,
My
good for
25-year-old
you.
boy.
Well, I mean, you're coming to the Mecca. You're coming to the Mecca for the car stuff. What was the other name of that guy? The other car guy? I started talking about. Okay, how do you say that? How do you spell that?
The way he spelled it was C-O-R.
C-O-R.
Oh man. C-O-R-S-E-T-T-I.
Oh, that's a last name.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, unless he's like Madonna, Corsetti, who does the Land Cruisers. I don't know.
Oh, okay. We only got one name on him. Okay, cool. Got it.
Yeah.
Corsetti does the Land Cruisers.
Once again, another great T-shirt idea.
I was going to say it was a porno from the 70s. It's like Eddie and the Cruisers, but like Corsetti does the Land Cruisers. I don't know. It's a stretch. So many things we do.
Conan. If we're talking Conan people, who
Conan.
Really
Hello, Conan.
I say it the same way
Conan.
I say Conan.
He
the
prefers Conan. He's very clear about that.
I know. But the Barbarian was first, and we call him Conan the Barbarian, and it's just funny. And anyway.
But that's a different guy. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're being disrespectful. Call him Conan. He prefers it.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Yeah, well.
You want him on the show. You're a producer on the show, and you're like, hey, Conan, come to our show.
All right. Jordan Slansky would be fun, and so would Sona.
Sona would be great. I remember Sona. I don't know if she'll remember me, but I remember Sona from I don't know where, because she was not. It's the same thing with Aaron. I don't know how I know these people. I never snuck in an intern at Conan. I really worked there. But I don't understand how I know a couple of these people, because Sona would have. Conan's assistant's name was Lynn Kaplan when I worked there. Okay? It was like the 90s, right? So Sona came in way, way later, and somehow I do know her, and I know we've interacted. I think we're even like friends on the thing. Oh, Ashley Olivia is another one, although I knew her from New York. Anyway, there's a bunch of people from that show. I think we actually may know that maybe it'll be easier than some. Do you want to reach out, or do you want me to reach out? I don't care.
If I knew how to reach out, I would reach out.
Reach out and touch someone. No, I'm dated.
If I had contact info, I would reach out in a second. I have no problem being the front line of opening up conversations and relationships. I'm that guy.
You are. When you said the other day about like you put the the Letterman Podcast at gmail.com. Is that right?
Yeah.
When you said what did you say on the show? You go yeah, or if people just want to. I said, what is this for? Like if they want to be a guest, or if they want to submit something. Or what? He goes, yeah, or if you just want to be my friend. You can never have enough friends. And I was like, woo! We are fundamentally built differently, and not that I don't. I mean, I would love to be friends with the world too, but like I don't have the brain power. I finally have more than 1,000 friends on Instagram. Guess what? I'm not on Instagram much anymore because it's overwhelming for my brain. I can't do it. It's not that I don't want to. I don't know how anybody does it.
It's not coming from a place of loneliness either. Like I love collecting people and relationships along the way. It's just great.
You are full. You got that nucleus of power. You're just a ball of energy. Nucleus of power.
There's a T-shirt. Nucleus of Power. That's the name of my band now.
That's right. You're the nucleus of power. That should be the tape you listen to at night. The subliminal message tape. as you fall asleep when you're trying to quit smoking.
Hey man, I got a tape you got to hear. We're Nucleus of Power. Can you just give it a listen, please?
All right, so I completely forgot, of course, to check in with YouTube, and there are a lot. All right, so let's go through them. Irene Hoffman here, present. Manu Carrillo, and now I'm here. Manu Carrillo, back in high school, close friend, got a Craftmatic adjustable bed as a gift, and we all thought it was hilarious. Guess I would be there on the show. David Letterman, Rob Burnett, Julie Bowen. Interesting. All right, let's write some of these down. Rob Burnett, I believe I'm friends with somehow, somewhere. I don't know him personally, but I think we're like connected in the ways.
We could make that connection.
Yeah, and then Steven Seagal, I think I'd like to pass on because I'm just maybe afraid. I might be frightened on that one. And let's see. Jeremy Clarkson would be great, but that's, you know what? Nothing's impossible. Let's write it. I think the person.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
I lived under a rock. Did you guys watch SNL this last week? I don't know who this guy is. The guy who hosted.
No, we're behind. I'll get to that. And
yeah. Okay.
I don't know when.
He was incredible.
SNL's long down the list.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm juggling so many things over here, and he's like, "Hey, did you watch SNL this week?" I found. Got to get the car wash. Got to go to the store, get a loaf of bread, a stick of butter. I found people.
I found people on Mars in 2004. Well, case closed, I guess. Nice job,
Jerry Lahane, and he's got clothes. I mean, it's a bonus. Irene Hoffman. It would be really difficult to get him, but wish you could get Art Linkletter. He's dead, isn't he? Art Linkletter's long dead. Art Linkletter was great selling the Craftmatic.
He was the ShamWow guy before the ShamWow guy.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, and I didn't know how to. Thanks for doing that. What do you call those? Pitchmen? Like, hey everybody, Billy Blank's here. He's dead too. But all those guys, the guy's got the wacky tie, and hey, this will clean your house better than anything you've ever seen. OxyClean and all that shit.
I lovingly call them hucksters.
Oh, good. He was the first. He was a huckster back in the day. It was Ron Popeil, and the hair paint and the fucking toaster and all that shit. He was like before him. And we got here. Perfect timing, Jay. You're the best. Thank you, Manuel. See Mars people go, ooh, Google. Google Jerry Lahane Mars. Yeah. A lot of people do that. They come into the chat or whatever, and they'll promote. There was a guy who said something about... if you want me to call in, I can. Wow. All right. Well, definitely available. Huh. Jerry Lahane is available. Chris D'Elia, I worked with his dad for years over at David E. Kelly. Bill D'Elia. Chris D'Elia. I mean, jury's out on that one. I really enjoyed him when he was working with Whitney. And then we went and saw his stand-up at the thing, and I was like, I don't get it. It's not for me. The kids loved it. Everyone else in the room was roaring, and I was like, no.
It doesn't feel as real. Like I
felt like he was fucked up, and he was just up there making noise.
Yeah.
Bobby Lee, same thing to me that same night, and I think he was fucked up, just up there making noise. We took his dick out. Took his dick out that night. We all saw his dick that night. Didn't need to see Bobby Lee's dick.
Apparently he does.
It's exactly what you expect. By the way, it's exactly what you would expect. Exactly what you picture. Oh, what would Bobby Lee's dick look like? It's exactly what you think. Not to stereotype or anything. It's just like, what do you picture when you? Oh, I guess it would. Yeah, that's it. Oh, this is good. Ari Shafir. Yeah, all right. So there's a lot of, you would prefer the comedians. Yeah, there's a lot of comedians. All right. Well, those are all. I put those in when you said the Burt Camp. I put those in there. Now Kimmel, Irene Hoffman. Look at you coming in with Kimmel.
Yep.
Now we do have a direct line to his guy, but I think his guy is one of the hardest people in Hollywood to get through. I mean, like
you send his guy a picture of David Letterman's desk and say, "Hey, you show that to Jimmy," and just says what he says. Jimmy is going to be at your house the next day.
You're wrong. I'm telling you, you literally do not know how any of this works. Every time you say this, I think, "Wow, I love him, but we need to have a conversation because he's such a bumpkin."
Yeah. Smarten me up. It's true. Like,
It doesn't work like that even a little bit. Just tell them I said it's okay. Like at a hotel, they won't ring into the room if they have the fucking do not disturb on. You think you're going to get past what I just told you is one of the hardest gatekeepers in Hollywood? Just show them a picture of the desk and tell them Mike from Canada says it's fine. But I need him in me because I will automatically shut it down and go like, nah, that path's way too hard. And I need him to even me out so that he's like, but it could happen, right? Like, absolutely. It could happen, which is why I wrote it down here.
Okay, I would bet all the money in my pockets versus all the money in someone else's pockets that if Jimmy saw a picture of that, he would freak out, is all I'm saying. Like,
you know,
and
there
if
are a
his
lot
guy
more
wouldn't show him that.
There are a lot more
go ahead.
people. No, I'm telling you. You are underestimating us and overestimating us at the exact same time. There are so many people that you want us to get in front of that already know who we are and either don't care or we haven't made it to the point where they can participate. That's where we are. There isn't anybody who doesn't know who we are from the Kimmel camp, from the Leno camp, the Letterman camp, the Conan camp. They all know who we are. We either have to grow to a place where they can come and play ball with us or have some other reason to whatever. But the whole, just make them aware and that'll do it and it'll tip the scales.
You don't think so?
I wish it were like that. I wish it were like that. If it were like that, Dave would have been here already. Like so many other things would have already been done.
I hear you. Just with that particular guy who had that particular obsession with David Letterman, I just think the desk is too strong for that one, for that guy.
But you're not listening to me. You're wrong. You're already wrong. You're still fighting a point that you're wrong. We've already done the things you're talking about, and you're wrong.
Okay.
It doesn't get through. They don't care. You care because you're like me. I care too. Commissar, he cares. I think Dave will care a little bit because there is actually some sentimentality in that. He was upset when his microphone disappeared. I still owe him something for that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot there. Conan will be here. We'll get Conan. That one will happen, but it's through this other chain. But they're all aware of us. We got no's from Kimmel's guy 5 years ago before this was even... Not to be on the show about, the long project. You know what we're talking about?
Yes.
We didn't have the bookend yet, but we've been working on it. The day we got access to this stuff, it was Kimmel's birthday, and I posted something about, "Hey Jimmy, we found the perfect gift for you," something like that. And it was a picture of this thing still like being wheeled out of the museum, like out of the warehouse. Crickets and wind, my friend.
Okay.
You could be right once they get here. They see the whole thing. Oh, wow, this is amazing what you've done in this little space. Like, you really are a different kind of crazy. You're not the kind of crazy we thought you were. It's a whole different type. But I don't think it's a matter of you, like, just simply show them and then they'll know.
It's not the dangling carrot that everyone thinks it is. There's more to it.
Yes. Okay. My interpretation of how much Kimmel loves Letterman is the only reason why I'm standing on that anthill. I can see why you'd say that for almost anybody, but he's one of us when it comes to the.
Why are you fighting that? You're already wrong. I'm telling you, we've already done it.
And
what do you want us to do? And I'll explain
pocket.
how we already did it. I'm telling you, it didn't work.
I hear you.
He's like, no, but he's such a fan. If we just what? I want to hear a new idea. What do you think? What do you think we should do?
Okay, so let me make sure that we're on the same playing field. Jimmy Kimmel has seen that mere 15, 20 minutes from his work, David Letterman's original late show desk and the last late night desk is there, and he could come and sit behind it and talk with some people and look at the microphone and everything. He's aware of that, and he has said no to coming.
Dude, He has his own show with his own desk. He can talk to millions of people. He can talk to Dave when he wants to. He doesn't care about the. I mean, when he was here, yes, I think he would acknowledge that this is cool. But I think fans have a way of painting the world with their brush. I did it too.
Yes.
Other people don't give a shit about the shit you care about. Right. It's the same thing with car people. You talk about some part number, whatever the fuck, some rare thing from the craziest, rarest, most expensive Porsche. Talk to somebody who doesn't give a shit. They don't care that it's worth $35 million. They don't know what it is.
Right.
It doesn't resonate.
Right.
You, me, and Commissar, we get it. We get it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And the fans get it. And I get what you're saying about him being a fan, but he's transcended. I've transcended what you're talking about. Sometimes we have conversations and I'm just like, no, I get it. But like, I'm not there anymore. And I'm not making fun of that because I feel it. I feel what he's talking about. Like it resonates with me. I just have already. How many episodes of this?
You've been there, done that.
Yeah, but not with any disrespect. Just one of those like, that was a place where I was, and I remember being there and thinking there wasn't anywhere else too. But then it turned out like I found something else. This is 453, and I would guess. I mean, I don't know. We only did 1 year without the set, so you know what I mean. Like 300 of those easily are here at this equipment, and I don't know. I'm ready to say goodbye if Commissar wants it. You know what I mean? If he can either sell it for the money to donate his late night set to the show and the foundation, or if he wants it to keep and put his new replica microphone on, because we already know it looked good on this desk. Because we used it on this desk for a long time. I don't know. I'm so on board, and I love that you go the places I don't. And vice versa for how we think, because I think that's a good partnership. That's you cover the most ground that way. But like it needs to be something else. Like when we get Dave here, you want to invite Kimmel to be here and watch and be part of it, whatever. Like I think in a heartbeat he would love to do something like that. But until we have actually gotten to the level, like somebody at that level can't really play ball. He's currently on the air,
I see. Yeah. Okay. And there's an ecosystem that you guys understand that I don't. And again, that's the fascinating thing. I love that.
Read the room.
Read the room.
That's what you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, is that what you mean? I didn't mean to put words in your mouth, because we talked about this before. The read 100%. The room element.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what. But again, and it's going back to, I think that's what the appeal of the show is too. But the fresh perspective is always a good thing. But at the end of the day, you guys live in a culture, like a culture that is very different than, I lovingly call myself Canadian bumpkin. I love being a bumpkin. I love that. But the idea, though, that sometimes things could break through those cultures also appeals to me.
Yeah.
And so that's where wouldn't it be awesome if he was there, even though he's on the air, despite the fact that that's,
let's make it
I
happen.
love that idea.
I want to see it too. I'm totally on board. I mean, I think the truth is we do have a lot in common. You are right. He is a fan, but you'll also notice he's a fan who mentions the same three things anytime Dave comes out. I had a birthday cake. I had a license plate.
Yes. Yes.
It only goes so deep. Talk to somebody like I'm crazy to a fan like that. You know what I mean? Like I broke into the theater. I stole a piece of history. Now here we are doing this nonsense. I think some people's opinion would be like, well, if you want to do this that bad, why not actually go try to get like a real job doing this? And I don't have an answer to that other than we didn't know. Who knew we'd get here, right?
Sure. And you're doing it different than them. And with everything we talked about tonight, with the community getting involved and having, real-time interactions and things like that, you're doing something different than they're all doing. They're all doing the same thing as far as I'm concerned, with slightly different nuances on content. You're doing something, in my opinion, that's an evolution of the thing that we love, and it's different than all of them.
Oh, buddy. Amen. Thank you. That was very kind.
Yeah.
that was very complimentary. Because that would of course be our intent. So thank you.
Yeah. It's so accessible. I mean, I enjoy, the two Jimmys switching over April Fool's Day. Genius.
That was terrific.
Fucking awesome. I love it. I'm not part of that other than just a viewer watching. And again, this goes back to the whole reason I'm doing the podcast, the Letterman podcast. Dave changed that. Dave made the audience feel like they were part of it. You have gone the next step and made the audience a part of it. Like that hasn't been done.
Wow. That's amazing.
I've read a couple Bill Carter books and this is different.
Mrs. Ryan's reading the original right now.
Oh, my copy is so dog-eared.
95, whatever it was.
So good. So fucking good.
So good.
There's a lot of stuff, people see the HBO movie. There's a lot of stuff in that book that isn't in the movie. A lot of stuff's consolidated.
It's a thick book. Like there's
the book
way
kicks the shit out of the movie. It's so good. It's so good. And the sequel is just as good.
Yeah, in some ways it's better because we've been here before and we're looking at it with experience.
100%.
Yeah.
The idea that history is repeating itself unbelievably is crazy how that happened. And it's almost like karma came back to bite NBC in the ass for what they did the first time. Oh man, I love that story so much. It's one of my favorite stories in any medium ever. It's just, I love it.
I don't want to bore people with more of my thoughts on late night, but I used to feel exactly how you feel, and because I grew up and obsessed over the Letterman Leno thing in the 90s because it was during this, of course, what I was doing. And then later on, I had already worked for Conan, and then it was all happening again, and I was actually out here. The Team Coco, that all got birthed right out in front of our goddamn place here. It was a line up to Universal 2 blocks long, which is exactly where we are. They were all waiting out in the rain, and that's where, I think it was Tom Hanks on the show called it Team Coco, but that's where it became a hashtag and a movement and everything else. So I was invested, and I literally shared your opinion completely. Oh, how could they screw it up again? Okay, Speaking of Bill Carter, have you seen the 6-part series Story of Late Night?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Multiple times. I've got it on the PVR still.
All right. Well, then you'll remember that. Jack Parr has his own history about walking off the show and then coming back later and blah, blah, blah. Well, when Johnny got the show, there's a tremendous amount of turmoil and kerfuffle behind the scenes because they gave Johnny the show. They announced gave the show, the whole thing. But then there was a period where he wasn't quite available yet. And Merv Griffin was doing a show in the same time slot and the same set and everything else for a couple weeks while Johnny was gonna get here. Yep. And then it was a whole thing where Merv Griffin's doing pretty well here. And all of a sudden, why would we move Merv Griffin? Oh, well, we hired Carson. Oh, well, we got to figure something out. Well, and they had those guys going at it, and you weren't sure what was going to happen there either. So that happened in the 60s. And then they did it again when it's what they do apparently with that seat. It's almost like all of that shaking up the snow globe makes everybody tune in. And it's once I saw the bullshit of it from that it happened with Merv and Johnny, they had Merv Griffin his show on an hour before Johnny was to premiere. The same type of show from the same set. Yeah, Merv is sitting at the desk with the guests and chairs doing his show when Johnny Carson's going to premiere on The Tonight Show in 1 hour, sitting in the same place.
So dumb.
Yep.
Wow. So anyway, I think that's just some sort of a move that that company does or that franchise does.
Does seem that way.
Because there, in my opinion, now from that what I learned from Bill Carter on that thing, it seems like there has never been a smooth transition of power on The Tonight Show.
Until Fallon. Until Fallon. He's the first one.
You're adorable.
You are adorable. I don't know what to say either.
Well, okay. I mean, he went from late night to The Tonight Show.
Again, you're on the other side, bro. What do you want to know? We should do a whole podcast about inside late night.
Oh my God! Well, sign me
up. And
we're
friends with the other party, right? We know him.
Sure.
He'd still like that job. He was number one. He's whatever. Not my place. Anyway, back to the YouTube comments. There are definitely some more here.
Oh my God.
Shrine to the legend. Let's see here. Tiny on the radio says, I can't believe the fools at CBS threw that set away in the damn dumpster. You know, it wasn't
You and all of us,
CBS's
buddy.
well, again, everybody is behind here. It wasn't CBS's to give away. It was Worldwide Pants's, and that's what they chose to do. Commissar wanted it. He tried to get it from them. They were in, negotiations back when he was going to send union guys and trucks, and they were going to pack it up and the whole thing. At the last minute, apparently they didn't want it. So it's Worldwide Pants' decision, and they did with it probably what Dave wanted, which was probably just get rid of it all. I bet Dave probably hates that we're like doing this little show, or that other people celebrate the bridge and everything else. He doesn't strike me as somebody who celebrates his own shit as much as he celebrates others.
I've been told that
you,
he's not nostalgic. But
Not nostalgic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been told the same thing. But
I have too.
Somehow I disagree.
I do too.
Did,
like he's present and involved in everything, so I feel like you can't ignore things.
He's also enlightened. And Dave don't do what he don't want to do, and Dave wants to do what he do want to do.
Yep.
I don't know. What were you going to say, Mike?
He might have perspective now, and that might have evolved a little bit. But I love the story of the one thing from that place that he kept. Have you ever heard that story? The one thing that he did take as a souvenir?
Yeah, I've heard it. Do you know how that thing started? My heart stopped the night he told that story. It was the last couple of weeks on the air, and I think it was Oprah who asked the question, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The little stopper
my
for
heart
yeah.
Bro, my heart stopped when he started that conversation, because he goes, Oprah asked him, she's like, she's doing her Oprah thing. It's the last couple of weeks on the air, and he's like, so Dave, what are you going to take any souvenirs from the set? And he's like, well, I'm going to take one thing. And I already told this. He was, I'll only take one thing, because there's only one other person in the world who knows about this. And my heart stopped, because I thought somehow it was going to be the goddamn microphone story. Because it was just this weird thing. Go ahead and tell people what it really was, Mike, because it wasn't the microphone.
So Dave had essentially an apartment in his office. And he would come there.
You don't know anything. The apartment was in a different part of the building. When they built his nice new office for him up in the top on the top floor of the Ed Sullivan Theater building. Yes. They finished the office, and Dave moved in. But he never did anything to that room. Nobody ever did. The day he moved out, it looked like a beat-up version of the day he moved in. You know what I mean? Like no pictures on the walls, no furniture, shit like that. Right. And in the bathroom of the executive office of Mr. David Letterman was the sink had some. Go ahead. You remember now? It was like a little stopper.
Oh no, this is where I was going with it. I was going to say the area had a bathroom, a private bathroom, and the sink had an old school stopper, like an actual rubber stopper that you would put into the bottom of the sink to keep the water in there. Say you wanted to fill the sink.
He took
the rubber stopper with a chain. A chain. He took that off, and that's what he took. That was what he took as a souvenir.
It was never the right length for the sink. That was always too long, so it was like kind of knotted up in a bunch of different places. The chain was like knotted up to shorten the chain. So it was its own little comedy routine to Dave, like the stacking of the cups, like all the little superstitions, whatever the heck, like the fact that he beat the shit out of this microphone. I think it's awesome. That that's what he took.
It is. It's very Dave. So's that. That's very Dave too.
I wasn't even trying to be Dave, but we grew up on the guy, so you can't help but be influenced. Everybody get your influence shot. My bowels had no boundaries today. So sad. Oh man! After finding those people on bars, I'm not surprised. Here we go. Let's see. CBS is clueless, like Titanic. Okay. Yes, clueless Titanic. Can the agent get in collusion? Ooh, gonna get in some collusion with manager.
Oh, I see. They're going back to our original.
This is probably all very old stuff. I'm just clearing out the queue here. Jerry Lehane seems to have taken a liking to. I have a feeling Jerry Lehane may have subscribed. Crops are people too.
Outstanding. Tell your friends, Jerry.
Yank them attentions. Tell your friends. Writer Strike had a blog. I shoved myself into their little circle and I said I didn't want to know how it worked. Let's see. Because I wanted to be
Irene wanted to keep the
entertained
magic alive.
and was the published and what? Because I wanted to be entertained and was. They published me. Oh, that's lovely. Taylorian.
Yeah, I can't wait to have Irene on the. We're gonna get her to how to figure out Zoom. I can't wait to have her on the podcast. She visited that show 48 times and has some crazy, amazing stories about. I can't wait to have her on.
Jerry Lehane ghost wrote for Stern in 93 to 95. Ghost writing, so there's no way to confirm that. And procured Jackie and Fred in 1982 for Stern. That's a hard one for me because he met Fred in Hartford, not with Jackie. And he met him at WCCC in Hartford. So, Jerry Lehane, you're losing credibility on that one. But I believe the Mars thing. When he was still in D.C. Oh, you mean you brought Fred? I think he met Jackie in D.C. I think that's accurate. I don't know. I'm not calling I believe you, Jerry Lehane. Please don't fucking start shit. Don't write in. You sound like you might be the type of fan that Mike and I probably were when we were younger. So don't write in.
It's the folks on Mars that he knows that I'm curious about more than anything.
Well, you should have him on the Letterman podcast and talk about that. Ricky Gervais. I'm a Team Shandling guy on that one. I don't think Ricky Gervais and I have much to talk about. Not that I don't like him. I actually do like him, but I don't know that he would do what we're doing here. If you want to know what I'm talking about, watch the Ricky Gervais and Gary Shandling interview where they didn't know. They were sort of. It's very, very interesting to watch, but it's so uncomfortable. It's awful. It's really hard to watch because they were doing two things at once, and they both thought they were doing their thing first. So they're doing two totally different shows simultaneously, and it is awkward.
It's weird and awkward for sure.
Babes
It's like The
Classics
Office, the original Office come to life is what it's like. It's literally the awkward feeling that they try and go for in the original Office and the sequel too. But it's real. And it's between Gary Shandling and Ricky Gervais. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And amen for you for saying the original Office and then the sequel. I salute you, sir. Because I also like the original British Office, even though she worked on the sequel. I love that.
I love them both, but that awkward feeling that they went for, it was almost like Gary was like, "Oh yeah, you want to see what awkward's like? We'll make awkward."
They did.
This is good, Tiny on the Radio. What about Jeff Ross or Andy Richter? Jeff Ross could definitely. In fact, I just came upon his number the other day. Jeffrey Ross.
He'd be fascinating.
Yeah.
He somehow I don't remember. I just found his number the other day, and he knows her and we know him. I think Jeffrey Ross is a good idea.
I think that's the Conan Jeff Ross.
Oh, is that what you're talking about? Oh, of course.
He's talking about the Conan
Andy
Jeff
Richter.
Ross.
Yeah, you are. Jeff Ross, I don't think would do it. I don't think he would do it. Andy Richter, I don't know. She repped him for years. I'm sure his number's the same. I think I probably even have Andy Richter's number. Let's text him. I'm not going to text him right now, but let me see if I actually do. And then we'll know if it's possible. Andy Richter. Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
And it's a 323, which means it's his LA number or his home number. I don't know. Whatever. So yeah, so maybe an Andy Richter. All right, let's see. But I like the idea of Jeffrey Ross, the roast master, because I don't like the roast master, and I could talk to him about that. I like roast mastering. It's so mean and nasty. Like
I don't enjoy roasts either.
He's a teddy bear.
I feel dirty.
Who knows?
I agree with you. He is super nice and a teddy bear. Mm-hmm. But Mike Chisholm is sensitive like me and responds to all the negativity. Irene Hoffman, Conan, Best of Simpsons was with Conan. Oh man, do I agree about that? The Best of Simpsons was with Conan. Monorail is one of my favorite episodes.
Monorail, absolutely.
I think is that your favorite?
Oh, I love the Monorail episode so much because I'm a big Phil Hartman fan. I have 2 Simpsons figures, and they're both Phil Hartman Simpson figures.
Oh.
I love that episode.
I didn't know you were a Phil Hartman fan. I worked with Phil Hartman.
Yeah, no, I
on News Radio, and then Phil Hartman was the first guest with the extra tall microphone when I stole this one.
Yes.
The
Dons actually has a Phil Hartman collection, Letterman collection that you can watch, and I think it's like an hour and 45 minutes. It's really good.
Interesting. My favorite is Simpsons episode would be the Stonecutters, because it's all about the Masons and like secret society and stuff. That to me is so genius because it looks like it's all a joke and a gag, and I'm like, perfect.
They
so
made
good.
Steve Gutenberg a star, my friend.
It's Steve Gutenberg, a star. So good. But again, it's the music, just like the monorail episode, that I think is what gets me.
Yep.
We do. So good.
Oh my God. You're
All
so
right.
my little brother.
This was the Nothing Show. Went long here. You know what I'm about to say? Badges. Hook them up by clicking on the box with the heart here to buy badges and support the show. That's what producer Ariel says. Thank you, producer Ariel. We miss you. We got to have you back soon as a producer and or on the show. Although you tend to blend. You blur that line. You blur the line between producer and guest. She's here as a producer. She sits over there like the guest with the guest, and then when she's in here, she's a full guest. I don't know. It's fun. And then we got to have more sex talk, because who doesn't love sex talk? makes me awkward. I'm so awkward. All right, so we went long on the Throw It Out show. That's good. Producer Mike, I hope you have some notes for what the shit we talked about, because I can't do these Producer Mike's been writing the blurbs at the end of the show that you read on the YouTube and whatever the heck. So,
I got some stuff.
Thank you for that. I tend to forget.
Are you kidding me?
No, I tend to forget.
I got used to it after doing my own podcast. My wife rails against me if I don't do it right after. So that skill's been built over the last year. It's easy to do. Love doing it.
Yeah, that's the thing. If I could do that, and in the old days I could, because it was, you record the podcast, and then you got endless amounts of time until you put it up. Doing the live show and then getting it uploaded to YouTube and Spotify and everything afterwards.
Yeah, you don't got time.
I'm still doing this job. I can't fucking sign out and go clock into another one yet. It's so crazy.
Yep.
So thank you.
Yep.
That's trying to say that you helped me a lot.
Happy to help, and it's only going to get better.
I love that. This is very exciting. There's a lot of good stuff coming up. I know we can't say too much of it now, but there's a lot of good stuff coming up. I hope everyone knows that.
Cool.
Thanks for staying with us. This show wasn't so great in the beginning, but I have a feeling we're going to take it someplace now. Why the hell not? All right. Well, I think that's it, right? So, all right. How do we shut the show down? Let's just wrap it up. This is the part where we do thank yous, follows, and plugs. So thank you to producer Mike for hanging out with us all evening in Canada. Thank you to the Instagram audience for hanging with us all evening here at the desk. Thank you to Mrs. Ryan over here for being next to me, sitting here at the desk. And I think that's, did we thank everybody? Thank everybody. Thanks to the guy, the girl, the person, Jerry, who found people on Mars and has pants, wrote for Stern, and more.
And thanks
Next
to Phil
week.
Hartman. We love you, Phil.
Oh, Phil Hartman too. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I celebrate him now and all, but I didn't really ever get him. Like, I worked on news radio, and everybody's sort of like, oh, Phil Hartman. Like, he was like the most famous one on the show. At least that's how they all acted and treated. And I mean, I guess I get it. I've never was. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. Like, I never got it. I don't get it. What do you like about it, Mike?
Well, okay, so I loved him on Saturday Night Live.
No, I get. But what do you like about Phil Hartman?
I love that he is so like dramatic, and he when he goes all in on something, he goes all in. Like when he's serious about something, he is just all the way serious. And I just love his presentation and the way he comes across. I love the way that he would like smoke a cigarette and he would just over exaggerate it. And his voice, his voice, there's something very charismatic about that. And he was just very clever and dry. And he could turn on a dime. He could, he could be talking very serious. And then now you listen to me, buddy. Like he could just get intense really quick. And I can name a bunch of moments in news radio, a bunch of moments on The Simpsons, a bunch of moments from Saturday Night Live that just would make me laugh out loud. So there you go.
That's awesome.
I love Phil Hartman.
It's great to see it through somebody else's eyes.
Yeah.
Like watching his enthusiasm, telling me that You'll make me a fan of Phil Hartman just
Makes
listening.
me want to know him because I was like you. I didn't get it.
I mean, he was nice and all. I don't want to be like Phil Hartman was a dick on
No,
news radio.
he was
Not
awesome,
at all.
but
It's just
not my flavor.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we love everybody. Please love one another. And that's it. Let's see. Tomorrow, GVBC. Next week, we are back with, all right, it's a lot of stuff. Tuesday is not only Letterman's birthday, but we are going to have the Stiglet here. The Stiglet has some exciting stuff to share. There's a lot going on with the Stiglet. The Stiglet's going to be here in person as a guest, not as an intern, talking about all the exciting stuff to come with his racing career, which is getting off the ground as we speak. So the Stiglet will be here as a professional race car driver on Tuesday, and then later in the week we've got Dylan Mystery and Cameron Thuman from Mystery Films. They do a lot of car content that you have seen. They've done videos with Magnus. They've done a lot of stuff. They've done Super Bowl commercials. You know them, and they'll be here as well. So that's what's going on, right?
Cool.
Mike, I love you.
I love you too, man. Thank you and good night.
I love you. We love everybody else. Have a great night, and we will see you out there. Thanks.
Woo!